Hello, today we are going to be discussing immigration policies and challenges for families migrating from Mexico to the United States. I want to start off by discussing what it means to be living in the United States as an unauthorized immigrant. Resident unauthorized immigrant population refers to people from different countries who are not U.S. citizens. This includes people who have stayed longer than the temporary protection status or deferred action for childhood arrivals, or also known as DACA, DACA. Temporary legal measures can be taken, which include individuals under the temporary protection status and DACA. Other temporary relief measures may refer to someone who is waiting for immigration court proceedings. A status adjustment takes place when unauthorized immigrants seek lawful permanent resident status under the Immigration and Nationality Act. These individuals remain unauthorized until lawful permanent residency is obtained. The current law regarding the U.S.-Mexico border addresses security along with transportation planning, working with the federal, state, and local officials to create a safer transition for Mexican refugees entering the United States at the border. The Biden administration signed the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. This law includes $1.4 billion of modernization and construction along the U.S.-Mexico border. President Biden and Lopez Obrador are working together to create borders that are more resilient, more efficient, and safer, and that will enhance our shared commerce. This effort will seek an alliance between border communities and security efforts. The Mexican government has invested $1.5 billion towards infrastructure along the border between the years 2022 and 2024. Mexico and the United States have created the 21st century border management process to create secure, modern, and efficient borders. This committee meets annually to discuss and adopt action plans guiding bilateral efforts to expand and modernize ports of entry throughout the shared border. These efforts facilitate the flow of trade and travelers between the two countries and strengthen cooperation on public safety in the border region. Another group called the Binational Bridges and Border Crossing Group meets 3 times a year to discuss cross-border infrastructure. They also negotiate the impact of federal, state, and local mechanisms on the border. These include border master plans that deal with the coordination of the infrastructure development and collaboration on the issues surrounding transportation. A few other areas of concern are the issues surrounding climate change, rapid population growth, industrialization, and urbanization. The International Boundary and Water Commission was put into action to manage several issues surrounding water resources and boundary preservation between the United States and Mexican border. The United States works directly with Mexico to eliminate and control the number of illicit drugs in both countries. Cooperation between these two countries is vital to cutting down on criminal organizations and irregular migration. Programs that promote citizen security and human rights and reduce criminal impunity make this possible. The U.S., alongside Mexico, is utilizing funds for training, technical assistance, and obtaining equipment to ensure the effectiveness of these programs. The United States has more immigrants from Mexico than any other country. In the year 2022, there was 23% of all immigrants that had come from Mexico. As of July 1st, 2023, 65.2 million Hispanics live in the United States. They make up the largest minority group in the United States. This issue is central to both citizens of the United States and Mexico, addressing the issues surrounding race and ethnicity in the U.S. supports it being a welcoming place for families from Mexico in search of refuge for varying reasons. There are people coming to the United States for several different reasons. These are to escape poverty and persecution and search for job opportunities. There have been fears among the natural born citizens of the U.S. that they will have fewer job opportunities and resources due to the population growth of many people coming over the border from Mexico. According to Ferguson, there has been a shortage of workers in the U.S. since COVID-19. This would provide an ample amount of time and energy that could be placed on these jobs for a Mexican population to ensue. Immigration is a lengthy and difficult process for those who still live in Mexico as well as those currently in the United States illegally. There are certain families who are allowed to migrate without much difficulty from some countries, but not others. Mexican migrants coming to the U.S. have faced many obstacles getting here and being allowed to stay. Several have risked their lives in search of freedom from the bonds that hold them tight in their own country. When some migrant groups are allowed to stay, they may face racism and discrimination. This program I want to focus on involves improving the United States support systems for refugees and their families. This program will provide a safe place with shelter, food, jobs, through integration into the U.S., determining a case-by-case basis for each family situation. These programs assist with expediting the stability and integration as a U.S. citizen, allowing for a smoother transition into the country. This program will concentrate on families here illegally and how to provide them with the needs and necessities to safely gain citizenship within the United States in lieu of deportation. According to Warren and Kerwin, the deportation of undocumented residents from mixed status households would reduce median household income from $41,300 to $22,000, a drop of $19,300 per year, or 47%. This would lead to a high percentage of mortgages held by undocumented immigrants becoming jeopardized. This, in turn, would cause a housing crisis in the U.S. The program will allow those who are seeking asylum a way to integrate into the United States without prejudice surrounding race and ethnicity. These programs must continue to make efforts to provide school and local community center personnel with information on how to support these families and transitions into our communities. This in turn will create an environment of inclusion for several areas in the United States. These programs use specialists to analyze areas that will allow these families to grow roots in an environment free of prejudice and discrimination, strengthening family bonds in our communities. Thank you.